The world was stunned as Hungary, a member of both the EU and NATO, announced its decision to join the BRICS coalition. On December 7, 2025, Prime Minister Viktor Orbán declared from the Hungarian parliament that Hungary would align with a bloc seen as a counterweight to Western dominance. This move shattered decades of European integration, signaling the end of the post-Cold War consensus. Hungary, once a symbol of the West's expansion, now openly challenges the very institutions it once aspired to join. The announcement sent shockwaves through Brussels and Washington, raising urgent questions about the future of European unity and alliances. EU officials scrambled to respond, barely concealing their anger, while Washington viewed the move as a strategic betrayal. Hungary's decision is the culmination of years of friction with its Western partners over democratic norms and foreign policy. The continent now faces a profound internal division, with Hungary's pivot forcing a reckoning over the true nature of the EU. Is the European Union a family of shared values, or just a transactional bloc? Can a nation belong to two competing geopolitical teams at once? As Europe wakes to a new and uncertain dawn, these questions have never been more urgent. To grasp the weight of Hungary's decision, we must revisit its 20th century journey. For decades, Hungary was trapped behind the Iron Curtain, its freedom stifled by Soviet rule. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 brought hope, and Hungary quickly embraced democracy and a market economy. Joining the EU and NATO became the nation's top priority, seen as a safeguard against Russian domination and a path to prosperity. In 2004, Hungary joined the EU, and 5 years earlier, NATO, culminating a national aspiration for security and Western integration. For years, Hungary thrived as a model of European integration, benefiting from EU funds and open borders. Yet beneath the surface, discontent simmered. Many felt that Western promises came with too many strings attached. The sovereignty Hungary fought to regain seemed threatened again, this time by Brussels bureaucracy. This growing sentiment set the stage for Hungary's dramatic pivot away from the West. The dream of a united Europe now faces its greatest test. Hungary's foreign policy shift is the result of Viktor Orbán's long-term strategy. His eastern opening began as economic diversification, but soon evolved into deeper political alignment with Russia and China. Major deals like the Pax nuclear plant expansion and early adoption of Russian and Chinese vaccines signaled a consistent defiance of Western consensus. Orbán argues that in a multipolar world, Hungary must maintain ties with all major powers: Washington, Brussels, Beijing, and Moscow. By joining BRICS, Hungary seeks new markets and investment, free from Western conditions on democracy. Orbán's illiberal democracy model finds ideological kinship with BRICS, where non-interference is the norm. This move is both a strategic economic bet and a bold affirmation of his political worldview. For Orbán, BRICS offers the freedom to pursue his agenda without Western scrutiny. Hungary's relationship with the EU has been defined by a clash over sovereignty and values. Brussels sees the EU as a community of shared democratic principles. Orbán's government views it as an economic alliance of sovereign states. Legal battles over media, judiciary, and civil society reforms have led to withheld EU funds and accusations of political blackmail. Orbán frames this as a fight for Hungarian independence against Brussels' overreach, a narrative that resonates with his base. Joining BRICS is the ultimate escalation. Hungary is signaling it has alternatives and is no longer solely dependent on the West. This move tests the very foundations of EU law and solidarity. Can a country belong to the EU while aligning with a bloc that challenges Western influence? The answer will shape the future of European unity. BRICS began as an economic concept but has evolved into a powerful political bloc challenging Western dominance. With members like China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia, BRICS now represents a significant share of global population, GDP, and energy. The group's core principle is a multipolar world order and non-interference in members' internal affairs. This stands in stark contrast to the EU and NATO, which demand adherence to shared values. For Hungary, BRICS offers partnership without judgment and offers no debates over democracy or human rights. The bloc's focus is economic, infrastructure, energy, and trade. By joining, Hungary signals a preference for sovereign equality over shared liberal values. It's a statement about the kind of international order Hungary wants to join. Hungary's BRICS accession is the EU's most severe internal crisis, an act of rebellion, not separation. Brussels must now confront whether its members can belong to rival geopolitical blocs, Hungary's dual membership complicates EU policymaking, especially on sanctions and foreign policy. The EU's options are limited. Suspending Hungary's voting rights is politically risky, while further penalties may push Hungary closer to BRICS. This crisis exposes the tension between the EU's ambitions and its internal divisions. Hungary's move proves that national interest can trump the benefits of EU membership. Brussels faces a stark choice: enforce its values and risk division, or accept a more flexible, fragmented union. The future of European solidarity hangs in the balance. For Hungary, joining BRICS is a high-stakes gamble with uncertain rewards. The government touts economic opportunities, new investment, energy deals, and a role as a bridge between East and West. Politically, Orbán gains leverage and prestige, presenting Hungary as a key player on the world stage. But the risks are immense. Hungary remains deeply dependent on the EU for trade and investment. Alienating Brussels could mean lost funds, new penalties, and economic stagnation. Western companies may reconsider their presence, threatening jobs and growth. Politically, Hungary risks isolation within NATO and the West, damaging its reputation as a reliable ally. Orbán hopes to enjoy the benefits of both worlds, but many warn this is a dangerous illusion. Hungary may soon find itself caught in the middle, trusted by neither side. The stakes for Hungary, and for Europe, could not be higher. Hungary's BRICS move has unsettled Central and Eastern Europe, a region long caught between great powers. Neighbors like Poland and the Baltic states see it as a betrayal, fearing it weakens the united front against Russian aggression. In Warsaw, leaders worry about a pro-Russian wedge within NATO and the EU. The Baltic states, with memories of Soviet occupation, view Hungary's pivot as a historical betrayal. Some, like Slovakia, are more ambivalent, seeing it as a bold assertion of sovereignty. In the Western Balkans, EU hopefuls now question the future of European integration. Hungary's move introduces a new fault line in the region, emboldening nationalist forces and forcing countries to reconsider their strategic paths. The regional order is in flux, and neighbors are anxiously watching what comes next. Inside Hungary, BRICS membership has deepened political polarization. Orbán's supporters hail the move as a triumph of sovereignty and national interest. Opposition parties see it as a betrayal of Hungary's democratic aspirations and Western identity. Protests have erupted, with demonstrators accusing Orbán of selling out the country's future. Across Europe, public reaction is overwhelmingly negative, with many calling for Hungary's expulsion from the EU. International media and analysts warn that Hungary's move is a Trojan horse within the West, threatening the unity of both the EU and NATO. The consensus? Hungary has crossed a red line, and the consequences will be severe and lasting. The nation stands divided, and Europe is watching with alarm. Hungary's entry into BRICS marks the end of an era and the start of a new, uncertain chapter for Europe. The post-Cold War dream of a united liberal Europe has been fractured. Hungary's gamble could lead to economic isolation or loss of sovereignty, while the EU faces a crisis of identity and cohesion. The continent must now confront whether it is an economic bloc or a community of values, and what happens when those values are rejected. NATO's collective defense principle is also at stake, as alliances are tested from within. Europe stands at a crossroads. Enforce its rules and risk division, or accept fragmentation. Hungary's decision is a stone thrown into the geopolitical pond, with ripples that will reshape alliances and define the century. The script for Europe's future is being rewritten, and no one knows how it will end.